one man saying that is fine. If that's your opinion and you're not in it, that's fine. But there is an entire market of millions and millions of people that agree that it is a store of value. So, you can think one thing, but there's also a market, and markets tend to become efficient over time.
We do know that you will always get paid in Hex on a daily basis. And that is truly the miracle that we call Hex, because it is trustless interest, trustless yield. Nothing will stop that contract from running.
What is up, guys? Welcome in to the Creed of Crypto podcast. How you doing? I am one half of your hosts, Boi Crypto. I have here with me, as always, Crypto Ewok. We're going to have a big show for you guys tonight, talking a lot of PulseChain, talking a lot of real DeFi hacks. The market is pumping, PulseChain not pumping as much. We're going to get into that and a whole lot more. Welcome into everybody. I feel like I'm hosting a simulcast or something here, but welcome in if you were just watching Frank Molina and Corey Costa, which I thought was a fantastic stream. Those guys went for about 45 minutes. Always awesome to hear Frank Molina's take on things. Really good interview, so shout out to those two guys. And yeah, we got a big show for you. If you're just getting in here right now, smash the like. We appreciate you guys being here. We do this every single Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get into BTC and ETH. Obviously, the market has been pumping pretty hardcore over the last week, so we will get into that and a lot more. We got a poll in there for you guys tonight, and it may be an easy answer. I don't know, but based on how the market is acting right now, I'm curious as to your answer. So what are you guys buying right now? Is it the PulseChain ecosystem? Is it BTC? Is it ETH or other altcoins right now? We want to hear from you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Fubar, I love it. Daddy Hexler, DJ Moonboy, of course, Eric Angelo. I know I missed another name that isn't on my screen right now. So welcome in, guys. Love having you here. Comments, questions all night long. We'd love to hear from you guys. So Ewok,
yeah,
you feel? That's fine.
Oh, I'm keeping my head above the water and all this FUD. It's like trying to pull people down, and it's getting deep. It's getting deep. Got to roll up the pant legs a little bit, and wade your way through it.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. It is the people out there, but you have to just ask yourself if you're going to be one of those people that allows it to sway you, or if you do have an actual long-term mindset for this stuff. And I think some people misconstrued a little bit of a conversation we had. I think it might have been on last week's show, where we were talking about taking profits and different cycles and things like that. And we mentioned a few things, and some people said, so wait, are you guys saying you wouldn't even take, any profits at the top of the bull market, and you're holding for a whole other cycle, and you're just going to keep holding and do nothing? And that wasn't really the spirit of the conversation we were having. We were just saying that, somewhere along the line, and I'm sure we're going to have this conversation tonight, I think people who may have had a decade plan in crypto, which, let's face it, is a third of the length of time that most people have as far as the time horizon in legacy markets. They're usually looking at 30 plus years.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people that have maybe a 2-cycle or 10-year plan when they're in crypto kind of go back on that and start getting short-sighted and just look at this cycle, this cycle. Where is Pulse going this cycle? Where's this going this cycle? And that's fine. And you need to prepare, obviously, for the top of the bull market and know what it is you're going to do. But are you planning on being here past then or not? And that's a conversation that we had last week. And I can tell it's probably a conversation we'll be having tonight as well, because, I think some people are losing sight of that. So I didn't mean to get into such a heady thing so quickly.
Well, no, but I got something to add to that too. And it depends, with a 10-year cycle, it almost really depends on when that 10-year start, right? I mean, if you started in early 2017, you would have seen 3 bull markets, possibly. That's saying we have another one here in 25. Or if you started in a bear, then you're only going to get 2. So, it's a lot of timing as well. And honestly, 10 years in crypto is a long time. it's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of everything. They say that it 5 years in crypto is a very, very long time. So
Yeah.
10 years, double that. And, for most of us who do have some 5 stakes, hey, we're already here for 15. So, if you're not around, that means you're not staked long. Or if you
Right.
don't plan on being around, that means you're not staked. As far as I'm concerned, I have, stakes all the way out. So the Quattro Cinco for me has been habitual. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally hear you. And we're gonna get into that tonight and like having a long term mindset amongst many other things. We're also going to get into so obviously there's been a lot of talks about like the IPFS links on the landing page of PulseChain or PulseX or the bridge or I know RH Max made the Go Real DeFi site. We'll get into that as well, and we're actually going to do maybe it'll be helpful for some of you here. But we kind of want to do a video to clip and post as well for people when the bull market really kicks up to let them know how to really bridge over into PulseChain because, there's been some confusion from some people on it with some of the recent changes, but we'll show you tonight why it's really not that hard. And we'll make sure that we get a good video out for the bull market and clip it up. I know Coffee has a good one out there and many other ones as well.
Yep.
So let's start off with the price action right now. So BTC and ETH again, really been pumping more in earnest since last Friday. We had huge ETH gas prices all day starting Friday, and man, it really feels not necessarily like the bull market, but I mean a hell of a lot more bullish than we've been in a while. I mean, we're seeing Gwei get into the hundreds here and there on some days for certain periods of time. I feel like when I'm at my desk, like it's pretty much averaging in the 50s and stuff every single day over the
Yep.
last week. So we really saw that kick up in earnest on Friday. Mainstream crypto fans rooting for some news on the BTC ETF late last week. I guess I forget what his exact comments were, but I guess Mr. Guzzler, Gary, dangled the carrot and people started to FOMO in. I think you might have said a couple of things potentially about an ETF or the timing of it and the time frame of it, and everybody is waiting with bated breath because they think that that's going to save the market and they're excited about a non-crypto fund. But yeah, either way, Ewok, talking about the recent price action with BTC, looking at where we could shape up by the end of the year, I gotta say, I'm a little surprised that we've nearly crossed 45K here for BTC by the end of 2023. I would not have put it quite that high, although I would have said 35 to 40. Man, I don't know if it hit 45K in a couple spots today, but we certainly have crossed 44. And I got to say, I'm a little surprised by that. Now, I definitely, and I'm sure you're going to agree, we're due for a big pullback. I think we at least go to the high 30s again, if not mid 30s for BTC. This is a short-lived rally, I believe. This isn't the bull market, in earnest here yet. But
Yeah.
what do you think of this move? And just kind of people's reaction around the market right now.
Well, I think we said it's possible. And in these ranges, and if you look at this candle, it literally over here, if it has your open, your high, your low, and your close. This candle, literally, the high on it is 45,000 even 0.0000. You know what I
Wow.
mean?
Wow.
So apparently there was quite a few limit orders that were set at that price to sell it right back down as soon as it got there. So it did touch it, barely. But yeah, I think it's going to run a little bit till the end of the year, and then it's going to sell off before the halvening. That's kind of the pattern that always happens. It runs up right before the halvening, sells off, and then the halvening kind of starts the gradual uptake again. And I think by then we'll probably have some ETF news.
Right.
Are people going to buy in? Is it going to be manipulated? It's all yet to be seen. But the one thing you do look at is you look back at the price of gold, and how it was affected by the ETF. That when it came into play, it's been a very lackluster chart for the past how many years? It really just hasn't done a whole lot. So will it be manipulated? We don't know. Bitcoin is a little bit different of an asset only because, how much of it can they really get their hands on?
Yeah.
enough probably to manipulate, definitely. Um, but at most, what will they have? 5-7% maybe. Um, the other question is, how many miners do they own as well? And the interesting thing I was thinking about the other day, um, what if they end up controlling one of the mining pools that gets to be pretty large? There's a
Hmm.
lot of shady things that can happen if they gain control of that many miners. So,
Yeah.
just all things to think about. I don't want to FUD Bitcoin. I know it's on a nice run. People, it's a different asset, and the way it goes is it will run, and then people will move assets over to altcoins in preparation for the other run. So this is all, we're all a trailing indicator basically with our ecosystem. I think it depends
Yeah.
on the FUD. There is a lot of FUD out there. We were already talking about it, but yeah, I kind of I think we talked about it a couple months ago when it was one of our topics. What kind of range could we be in by the end of the year? And
Hmm.
I think we're in this vicinity. I don't think we said it would go over 50. I said, but it could be in the
Right.
40 to 50 range. Is what I'm pretty sure that I had mentioned anyway. So yeah, we're right there.
Yeah, I think we are too. I guess for me, and I did message this to you the other night. We obviously were already close to 40K for BTC, but just seeing that again felt so weird to me. I guess just it's been so long. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's been like nearly 2 years since we've seen those kind of prices, so it surprised me. But yeah, I'm with you. This is a short-lived rally. I mean, we're not, full-on bull market or anything. I mean, we're gonna
No.
be. I can say with pretty much certain that from January to April of 2024, we will experience many days below the price that we're even at right now. I think we
Yeah.
definitely
It
will
will
be,
pull
but
back for
yeah.
sure.
But it is, nice to see nonetheless. And we are seeing, I'm seeing people say this on Twitter. I haven't had anybody do it in my IRL yet anyway, but we are seeing like the normies start to reach out and say like, hey, should I buy ETH right now? And, it is starting a little bit,
Should
which
I
means we'll
get that
probably do.
Shiba Inu?
Exactly. Should I buy SHIB? Should I do this? Should I do that? So that means we're probably in for a pullback here on that soon.
Yeah.
But let's transition to that and we'll take a look at what everybody really wants to see that's in the chat here tonight because both hexes I don't know what kind of sell order must have just happened, but we are looking at just over about like maybe 1.2 cents total hex right now after whatever just happened. But let me pull up the PulseChain ecosystem here.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, everything just
1.1.
yeah, everything just took a bit of a dive in the last like 5 minutes. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously we were already down today, but Pulse under 50% below the SAC rate. It's at about 4046 right now. Pulse X at 4012 right now, and yeah, Hex basically a little over a penny, 1.2 cents or something like that. Here, I'm trying to do it fast. So yeah, that's where we are. We continue to see some bearish action, and I think, and I would love to get your opinion, Ewok, and we can look at the Hex chart or we can look at the Pulse chart, whichever one you prefer here. But I think what we're likely seeing some of, well, it's a couple things. I think we're seeing people see the rest, I will say, seemingly of the market pumping, which isn't true. I mean, there's plenty of alts that are not doing it and not moving in concert with Bitcoin right now.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin, ETH have both been pumping the last few days. And I think people are seeing not only this ecosystem right now, anyway, not pumping with it, not just being stagnant, but actually coming down now. So yeah, what do you think is happening here? Why do you think this is happening? And then after you talk, I want to add in something that Frank Molina just said on that Corey stream I was watching.
Well, it's we had talked. I guess it was last week when we were about this 5655 level, and I said, hey, that was the low for Hex. Would be nice to make that, the local bottom here and not get past it. And then liquid loans launched, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I think there could be a few whale games that are happening
Mm-hmm.
right now. People may be trying to liquidate other people. There's some very close vaults that are out there that have some sizable amounts. looking like 350 million Pulse, another 100
Right.
million, 162 million. And here's one for $1 billion that's only collateralized right now at 115%, which isn't much.
Hmm.
There's a lot that are very, very close to getting liquidated. So, I just wonder if the whales could be playing some games, dropping the price, trying to get these liquidated, and go in and then buy a lot of stuff back up for a lot cheaper. That's a possibility. The other possibility is people are just losing faith, which, again, we talked about that is, Richard did say 50 weeks to shake out the losers that don't believe. Um,
Yeah.
are they getting shaken out? Is there a lot? Is all this FUD too much? Do they not want to wait? Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why this could be happening. Nobody really knows unless you're the one that's dumping the price and why. But here we are, right? It's perfect opportunity to pick up some of these
Yeah.
nice little discounts as far as I'm concerned. If you're in it for
It's
the long
something.
haul, great. If you're not, get out.
It's something that people can't really separate themselves from emotionally on the day of, but I mean, we don't see many days like this. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I mean, this just happened while we were on stream, so I don't know if you want to blame me or Ewok or what here, but I mean, this dip has just kind of just now happened. So, and I wanted to highlight something. So Frank Molina, who's been awesome, just following him on Twitter and stuff like that. Seeing him, he's only really streamed, I think, so far with like Crypto Coffee and now Corey Costa, as far as I've seen. But if you don't know him, guys, I don't know what his Twitter handle is, but he's a kind of a legacy finance guy that has been in markets for years and really likes real DeFi and the PulseChain ecosystem and is most excited about it. But he made a point earlier about the sacrifices for PulseX were both very, very large numbers. We're talking like $1 billion here.
Yeah,
So I mean, um, sometimes I think we have to realize, even though we may be small fish in the grand scheme of things here, is that there are plenty of people that were in profit, wanted to sell, wanted to get out. And, that's going to be there for a little bit. You just have to let them get shaken out. You just, and not even necessarily shaken out. I mean, like if there are people that are whales that have more than we do or something, you just have to let them do what they're going to do. And eventually there's going to be a time that it doesn't go down anymore and it recovers and it recovers sharply because there's just not that sell pressure there anymore,
yep,
by the people that have gotten out. So what do you make of that? Because I think sometimes people don't realize, like, I know that we're kind of our little corner of crypto here, even though,
sure.
we have loud voices and stuff like that. But I think sometimes even within this ecosystem, people kind of forget that like the sacrifice was a good bit of money. And, there are people that are going to be selling for a little while as well during this journey.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of coins. There was a lot of coins that were awarded, and people had very unrealistic expectations. I think we all did, with the excitement of thinking that it would just, it would take off and have immediate adoption, and it didn't. I mean,
Hmm.
I think we were all kind of uh had the shiny object syndrome, for the new bags that were in our wallets, and
Hmm.
just, yeah. I mean, I don't know. We've talked about it many, many times, but with the amount of money, yeah, that was raised, and for 2 years people waited. That was the thing that hurt the most, I think, is
Right.
they wanted it right away. Now, would the dip have happened as bad? Probably.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people that sacrificed didn't have the long term belief in it. They just were investing. They
Yeah.
looked at it as an investor, not as a I believe in this ecosystem type person. So, it is what it is. We got to shake them out, and the market will be that much healthier for it. I know it sucks right now, but you get some of these big wallets out, they can never hurt the price again, until they buy
That's the
back,
point. Right.
and they're gonna
That's the
buy
point.
back higher once they see green candles. It's just that's market psychology. They're gonna be like, "Oh crap, man! I sold too early. Now I got to get back in." They'll never have as much as they had before, and unfortunately, that's how the cycles go with a lot of things. People did that with Hex at the beginning. There were people dumping millions and millions of coins and then realizing, oh, this is going up, I got to get back in, and they didn't even get
Yeah.
half of what they had before. So
Right.
it
Right.
it happens. It happens for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. It's just something that you're gonna have to wait out if you plan on being here. And this is one of those days too where like, do you understand and value what you're invested in or not? Because if you don't, you're gonna have a day like today. And it's normal to be stressed by it. I mean, it's normal to see this stuff happen, excuse me, and have these dips and stuff in crypto and be a little bit shaken mentally. But if you actually end up acting on it, then you likely had some other issue going on about all this stuff to begin with. And that isn't even something to feel totally guilty about. I mean, like, were you over leveraged? And we can mean that both in like, do you have too much in crypto, period, maybe, or like literally leverage with liquid loans or one of the PH platforms, which we're going to talk about liquid loans launching here in a moment. But it's one of those things where, like, if you did this, which, you should do, go back to whatever your initial investing journal was that you wrote down with a sensible mind and read it. And I know that sounds cheesy and hokey and like a cliche. I've done it. I literally have a thing in my phone in my Google Docs that's like a decade-long plan that encompasses like my investments and other things in life. And many times I have returned to that and read it. And at the very least, it has given me like some solace or calmed me down in a moment of worry or stress or something like that. And I would encourage you guys to do that. I mean, it helps out a lot. So, Ewok, did you do anything like that? Or, I mean, you kind of just, I got to say, you're pretty cool hand Luke. I mean, you have ice in your veins really with this stuff. And I think it's because, so
I've
a lot
been
of these
through
people,
it a couple times, man. This is
exactly.
this is the more you're through it, the easier it gets to deal with, cope with. I don't look at charts every day. I really don't look at them at all unless somebody sends me hey, did you see the price? And then I'll take a look. But I try not to. Like it's very hard on your emotions. It's hard on your mental state. I don't need to stress out. I mean, I know it's gonna get back there someday, and when it does, then cool. But in the meantime, you got to live life and try not to worry about it too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again easier said than done, but those are some
Yeah.
of the tools that you can use is definitely having some kind of a journal like that and knowing what your plan is. Otherwise, you have a day like today, or even a day on the opposite side. Maybe it's further in the bull market and we're at new all-time highs and you have no idea what to do and you freeze.
Yeah.
So you need to have a plan. So that's what I recommend everybody do.
So I'm having a little chuckle here because
Okay.
Larry says, remember, he meant to say pennies in front of freight trains, and he said penis in front of freight trains instead. And
Some Lorena Bobbitt type stuff.
yeah,
Just out there throwing dicks on the.
Don't, Larry, don't put your penis in front of a freight train, please.
Yeah, do not
Probably
do
not a
that.
good idea.
And Larry brought up a good point that we can get to now before I remind everybody, like, if you guys are enjoying the stream, do us a favor, hit the like. We do this every single Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoy the stream for us, or if not for us, at least for real DeFi and PulseChain, and you support this ecosystem, smash the like. We appreciate it. But getting into liquid loans now, because Larry did bring up a point about that and being careful with leverage, regardless of the platform that you're using. We weren't here. It was a day or two. I think it was Friday. I don't know. It was Friday, actually. The liquid loans went live finally midday on Friday. Had a big pump, of course, all across this ecosystem, which has been totally wiped out now. But we did at least on Friday. And generally, crypto was pumping that day. So, Ewok, first off, I mean, my sentiment that I said to you is like, it was just so nice to have this actually launch. There was a lot of, I will say it. There was doubt by a lot of people. I mean, I think once the Fetch Oracle actually launched, it was like, okay, well, this thing is coming. I mean, I was very trusting of Walrus and all these guys, and them being very visible, regardless of anything else you want to say. There were updates; they were being visible every single day. So I really appreciated and valued that. But now we finally have it here, and Walrus talked a lot on some streams the other day about not wanting to let this thing launch and have some kind of a bugaboo or some issue with it. And I understand that. There's nothing worse than wanting to launch something huge that all these people are waiting for and have, God forbid, there be like a bug in it of some sort. So I'm just happy that it launched. Let's talk a little bit about liquid loans. How much do you think its now existence, with people, betting on this ecosystem, using leverage and things like that, could be contributing to some of this volatility? I mean, we're 4 days in or so to its launch. And then, if you wouldn't mind, I know you kind of dabbled with liquid loans a little bit and been messing around. Just kind of give your experience on what you've seen and what you feel about the platform so far. But first off, what do you think about the volatility maybe caused by liquid loans a little bit?
Well, so I mean, the theory behind this is that um, you never have to sell your pulse. If you really want to take a loan out, you can do it a couple different ways. You can extract some liquidity from the ecosystem and just kind of leave it there to get absorbed into the stability pool. I don't think that it really, as far as I know, it does not sell the pulse, so it really doesn't hit the market.
Right.
It does add to the stability pool, which, let's take a look at it here. Um, the stability pool
There you go.
has 341 billion pulse, so there's $17 million in there right now. The total collateral ratio is 187, which has gone up. Earlier today, I saw it was down around 135, and it was getting pretty bad. And then, so the way it goes is you borrow. So you can put Pulse in here, and then depending on how much you want to collateralize yourself, you have to adjust. It's the one thing that this does not have that I kind of wish it did. So if I wanted to deposit, for example, I don't even have, it's not letting me type because I don't have any Pulse in this wallet right
Oh,
now.
yeah. Yeah.
But for example, if I put in 100 million Pulse, it would tell me that I can pull out and borrow so much USDL. Well, what you have to do is lower this amount to get your collateral ratio to where you want it. So you kind of have to figure it out on your own. There is no way to say collateralize at 300% or at 500% or whatever. You have to adjust the amount that you're going to borrow from the amount that you're going to put in. So you have to play
Yeah.
around with it a little bit. But yeah, so as far as it hurting the market, I don't think it's hurting the market. What I do think is possibly happening is that when you look at these liquidations and you see what I was talking about a little bit ago, you have 343 million, you have 100 million, you have 162, 83 million. Here's a billion. All of
Wow.
these are right now under 116 percent collateral.
Yeah.
So there could be people out there playing around to see if they can get all of these liquidated and gone. And then maybe people FOMO in, they buy it back up cheaper and get a better deal or end up with more pulse. So I think there's going to be people playing games. It's just one of the
Yeah.
things that
Yeah.
happen when new toys like this come out. And yes, people were very excited. Back to your original point, don't forget there was 50, I forget how much sacrificed. I think there was about $50 million that sacrificed for this as well.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And a lot of those, ended up with I forget whether they got USDL or loan tokens. Either way, I kind of see the loan token as a incentive type token where, once you stake, you earn a bunch of it, and you do earn a bunch, because I played around with a little bit here. USDL in the stability pool. From here, you earn the part of the liquidations, and you earn part of the loan token. Then
Mm.
you can stake your loan token, which this adds up quickly. I think the first day I did it, I ended up with like $3 million overnight, or 3 million. I'm sorry, $3 million, 3 million loan tokens overnight. So then I claimed them and claimed the pulse, and then went to the staking pool and then staked that. So I keep every day pretty much will pull or claim and then add those into there, which this then returns the staking pool where you stake loan will give you a portion of redemption fees and issuance gain. Now, there is no redemption fees for the first 14 days, so you cannot redeem your USDL or loan. I forget which one, but 14 days it's locked. So you can't do anything for now. So you might as well earn more of it. But yeah, I think that's what's happening. It's a neat toy. But again, be very careful. Watch the videos. Make sure. My recommendation is I wouldn't go under 500% at this time of the market, especially. I would prefer the one I did. I started at 1,000%. As far as collateralization goes, and I think I'm now down to like 800% just from the price dip. So I'm protected up to like a 89% dip at 1,000% collateralization. So
tongue twister,
tricky word there, isn't it?
Twicky woe, twicky woe. Does my son used to say.
Yeah. But anyway, make sure you know what you're doing. Don't go in there and just pull out a loan and borrow something and not know what you're doing and get yourself wrecked. You're going to end up losing your stuff if you're not really sure what you're doing. Ask somebody or watch videos and learn. Or this is a clone or a fork of Liquidity, which is already on Ethereum. So go in there and look at its stats and things like that before you mess around and degen too badly and hurt yourself, and then you end up with a lot less than you started with. So just some advice.
Amen. It's something to be very, very careful with. Yeah. And I do think hey, we got to realize, like, zoom out. It's only been 5 days since this thing launched or 4 days or whatever. And this was the most highly anticipated thing to launch on this chain, really. I mean, dating back years now. I mean, it's been one of the biggest things that people have been anticipating. And I guess like the action in the market today might answer this question for us, Ewok. But a lot of people are saying, and I think it's kind of a misguided opinion, that the existence of liquid loans and the fact that it is here, they've been making this argument that having it available will get rid of sell pressure. Just the fact that it's there. I mean, I think that's a misnomer. I mean, I think that we will see, that platform could obviously really hyper things up when we are going up, and then have the opposite effect when things are going down. And we're only a few days in. So we're going to see this like crazy volatility with people using it, I think. But what do you make of that argument about just its existence will get rid of sell pressure?
I disagree. I think people are still going to sell. It will get rid of some of the people that need to sell for a reason. If they're in a bad spot, I think they can take a loan rather than sell a big chunk of their wallet, which is good, right? I mean, there's always good to have a tool. If you need your car needs inspected and it's $1,000 that you don't have, or that's just an example. You could borrow $1,000, and then hopefully as the market goes up, you can kind of pay it back with the equity that you have built in. So there are ways that will reduce some sell pressure. Now, as it comes back down, people are going to get hurt with it, at the top. So, that is one thing, is when this market rolls over and starts to go back, I would pull a lot of stuff if you're, making these loans later on, or you're going to find that it quickly drops and liquidations happen left and right. People will forget about what they had in there. That's always a possibility. Somebody makes something and then forgets about it, and they forget to pay it back or whatever. So it's just use extreme caution. If you don't know what you're doing, get help or just don't touch it. But I don't think it's going to, I don't think it's going to ease up on the sellers and the reasons to dump. People are going to get out if they want to get out. So it's a tool. It's a tool. Use it accordingly.
I think so too. And it makes perfect sense that we're seeing it used so much here in the first few days. You know, this will be not forgotten about, but it won't be as prominent. People will move
Right.
on,
Yep.
go back to
Absolutely.
just buying spot. And that's another thing too. It also makes sense, this is launching, you know, by plan, obviously, but everybody's still like pretty massively down.
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that people, as soon as this thing launches, want to get like leveraged long big time and try to recoup maybe all these losses that they've had or try to make a bunch back. And it's unfortunately for many people a road to ruin if you don't know what
Yeah.
you're doing. I mean, it's just, if this doesn't interest you, or if it does and you just don't understand it, and you don't feel like you can make time to understand it, look, there's nothing wrong, especially today, with buying any of these assets at spot right now. I mean, like I'm just sitting here right now wishing I had more cash liquid to be able to put into the market. Really,
Yeah.
maybe I could take out a liquid loan, but really, I mean, like just buying spot, you're not doing poorly right now. So I
Right.
think people just need to realize that,
Yeah.
and you can't make it all back with one trade or one long or something like that.
No.
And hey, I will say it to we're blue in the face, but the biggest thing is to just be patient, and keep buying and keep your long-term plan in mind. But hey, bottom line, I am happy that this thing is finally launched. It's brought a lot of bullish sentiment to the ecosystem that, was existed for about 4 days. And it's cool that it's finally out. So
Yep.
glad you're able
Exciting.
to yeah, for sure. Turning our attention real quick to another new tool. Now, this is something that is not as wasn't as anticipated as liquid loans, and not necessarily something that you would do loans from. But Hex Scout, it's been anticipated and we've heard about it for a little while, but basically a new app. It's not an app yet. I think it's just a website, but a new way of tracking Hex stakes, a new way of tracking your PulseChain investments, onboarding. All kinds of things can be done from Hex Scout. It is a great alternative to the Staker app, which I know many people are just not fans of anymore, myself included. Even after the updates they did, I don't know, like a year ago or something, I'm not sure. But we've got GoPulse.com, which I know a lot of people use to like look at their portfolio. Again, you can buy all these products on there, things like that. And then Hex Scout is the next new one that has finally launched. I was going to say, there you go. Perfect, Ewok. Thank you. So yeah, it's all there. I'm not going to say that it is necessarily revolutionary or way different than these other ones. Again, I'm no fan of Staker app, but this, I think, rivals what we've seen with GoPulse anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what do you make of it so far? I don't, obviously I'm not asking you to plug in any addresses or anything like that. I know you can do kind of dummy ones they let you do. But I really like the layout. I mean, they have all kinds of options available. I think it was just added. Oh yeah, it was to one of the front end sites. I don't know if it was the official PulseChain one, but the link to this was added at the bottom of one of the front ends. So
Yeah.
that is pretty sweet too.
Well, so the
but
thing that I like about it the most is, and I don't know if I'm a little older than probably some of you, maybe, but the thing I like about this, it really reminds me of the Choose Your Own Adventure book. Do
right.
you remember those?
I mean,
So,
I think everybody knows what Choose Your Own Adventure is.
okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
because like, what are they, like different, I'm not a gamer, so apologies for the, lack of understanding the nomenclature here, but, RPG, what are they called? What do you call a computer game, a PC game where you can like choose different ways to go? Fuck it. Who cares? Anyway, go ahead, Ewok.
Well, a role playing game, RPG.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah. Like,
but
yeah,
no,
whatever.
this is what I like about it is it really walks you through. It's what is hex. It gives you the explanation of what hex is, tells you what staking is, and then here generate your personal staking ladder. So, how to buy? Do you want to buy E hex or P hex? Why are there two? It tells you. So, I mean, it really does a
Yeah.
good job of really walking you through it. And then here how to stake. Well, who do you want to stake for, me or somebody else? I mean, it gives you, and then what's your goal? Well, I want to invest long term with a long term growth perspective, or prioritize
Right.
short term passive income, or start earning passive income relatively quickly. So, I mean, you can really just choose your own thing. What's your budget? It tells you, all right, say I've got 1 million pulse, then, or 1 million hex. How old are you? Well, you can pick. I'm gonna say I'm 45, and how long can you go without your first
Are you
withdrawal?
you're being kind of generous to yourself right there, I think, but
Yeah, I
I
was
don't know.
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
So if how long can you go? Well, I can go 5 years maybe. And then, it walks you right through it. And it tells you here's what you kind of how you want to set it up. Um, and explains, it gives you a nice little detailed of the interest rates and distributing 20% over the next 10 to 15 years. It gives you a nice little thing, and it changes on how you answer the question. So it's
Yeah.
very cool. It's very thorough. I did hear one more thing that I haven't seen on here, but apparently these guys are implementing a tax assistant section to this,
Oh,
where
sweet.
it will actually help you figure out your gains on your stakes and your unstakes and whatnot. So it's
Wow.
not on here. I heard, I don't even remember where I heard it this morning, but it apparently is being worked on. So far, that's rumor, not fact yet. So don't hold me to it, but I heard it from somewhere else. Um, but yeah, it's a really cool tool, and it is cool to go in here and you can look up Kareem the Dream, his dream account, and see
Ah, yeah.
what's in here. And there's a $1.4 million. There's 230 million hex, and you can go through the history and look at it and mess with it a little bit. There's the God Whale. There's a couple others to just play around with and take a look at. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's pretty
Yeah, I do
cool.
too.
There's a couple additions that could probably um, be added to it. Some of the tokens in the ecosystem, but they have a lot. There's Pulse, there's PulseX, there's Ethereum, Wrapped Ethereum, Hedron, and Icosa, and I think that's about it. Or that's all that's in this account. Maybe that's what it is. But
Yeah, I think that's what it is, but
yeah,
it is cool that they have those examples there for you,
yeah, yeah,
and I wasn't aware of the tax thing. That's very sweet. It does a
yeah,
great layout. It's a great product. I'm really glad they pushed it out,
yeah.
really. So,
But I think that's what makes it fun. Like I said, you kind of walk yourself through it. You can educate yourself. You can educate somebody else. It's a good tool to point people to for doing a little bit of research and getting started on what they may want to do before you even do it. So
yeah.
very nice, guys.
Very nice for sure, and it's one of the many, many things that people just keep building for this ecosystem, regardless of, like, where the price is from one day to the next or the 5-minute chart or whatever. This is what you have to do, as hard as it may be to do sometimes with where the prices are, is look at the fundamentals and what's being built. Look at, we're one of many channels, and we're not even, one of the biggest by any means, but we're one of many channels that have a megaphone for this whole ecosystem
Yeah.
constantly. So that, as tough as it is for people I know on a day like today, you got to remember why we're all here and why everybody is so passionate is because there really isn't anything like this in crypto. There isn't any real DeFi like we're dealing with here. There's no smart contract like Hex. There's no layer one like PulseChain, and PulseX using the buy and burn. No DEX uses that feature. So, I mean, you just have to realize where we are right now. And I know people are, it's one of those things, and I fully believe this. I know Sami says this a lot, which, by the way, he shows himself on camera now. I don't know if you saw that, Ewok.
Yeah, I did.
Sami has revealed his face on video format. He is apparently a real human being.
Yeah, that AI is getting pretty good, isn't it?
It is getting pretty good, although I haven't seen the hands very much. I haven't seen
No.
Sami's hands too much. So if they do
Check
that weird
fingers.
stuff, yeah, then we'll know it's fake. Well, now I forget my original point.
He showed his face anyway.
Yeah, he did. Well, that wasn't my point. It was something that he says all the time, and now I forget what it was. But basically, just whatever the candles are, it's how people are going to react. So a
Yeah.
lot of these things going on right now, like the IPFS links and the front end, and what do I do? And it's an extra click, or it's not working. It is working. It's just, if we were going up, maybe they'd still be bitching about it, but I think they'd just be bitching because it's like, I want to buy, like right now. And people will, trust me, people will realize how easy it is to get past the IPFS link and click one extra button or like download the Chrome extension, which I'm going to get into in a moment. to run those and make sure that they never go off for you. People will learn that whenever the prices are going up. I assure you of
It
that.
sure will.
So, yeah. So good stuff there from Hex Scout. Shout out to you guys. Definitely a good looking platform and definitely interested in it. I'm going to jump around here a little with what we had, Ewok, just because we've got, as we talked before the show, so many good things. But if you guys are enjoying the stream, do us a favor, smash the like. We appreciate all of you guys being here. We have a very active chat tonight. And that's one interesting thing that I do see in this market. I mean, whether like prices are going up or going down like they are today, it usually brings out the most people, whenever there's volatility like this.
Yeah.
So shout out to you guys in the chat. Appreciate all you guys being here tonight. So let's take a look at this. Where do I want to go? Let's go back to the documentary. So the highest of stakes. So we saw this a lot last week, and I know it's already kind of left people's mindset, but speaking of some fundamental things that are happening and some attention that this blockchain is going to get, everybody's favorite, Eric Cartman in real life, blockchain boy. And I say that with love.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He watched the highest of stakes and was tweeting about it last week. We had Altcoin Daily. They have I think like 1.2 million Twitter follows or something like that, or maybe that's subscribers on YouTube, probably. Altcoin Daily tweets about it as well and watched the documentary. Neither one was really derogatory or anything. I think Blockchain Boy actually gave it a little bit of a write-up. But the film definitely appears now that it is on it's at a lot of places now. I'm losing track. Apple TV, Amazon Prime, Google Play or whatever, YouTube. It's at a lot of spots. But with Blockchain Boy, all these guys tweeting this, and think what you will want of them. And that's one thing I am getting sick of a little bit is like when Blockchain Boy tweeted about it, you will see, and there's a couple negative Nancy's like at the bottom of the thread, but you'll see people that are like, get the hell out of here. We don't want you in this ecosystem. And it's like, man, look, I know where that thought initially comes from, and it comes from seeing somebody like that you feel is like shilling, referral links, or I get it. It's like a crypto influencer and stuff like that, and we tend to look down upon them. But if they're actually looking at it and they're actually engaging with the ecosystem, I don't care. Like that doesn't bother me. I mean, like I'm glad they checked it out. I'm glad they're talking about it, whatever. And, one thing that we do know with this ecosystem, with PulseChain, with Hex, when they talk about it, they're not getting any kickbacks or anything like that. So There's no other incentive. The only kind of kickback, I guess, would be the engagement they get on Twitter and or YouTube or whatever app they're using of people that maniacally, naturally just love this ecosystem. That's really all they're getting. And if Twitter pays them for their engagement, then okay. But yeah, what do you think, Ewok? I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, but this documentary really seems like it's going to have an effect in this coming bull market. I mean, like, these are people that, those big accounts are kind of crypto lifers, obviously, at this point. But I really think, once retail comes back and they see something like this, it's going to be big. And most of these no coiners or non-hexagons, non-pulse chain people that are seeing it are not really, the movie's more made for that audience than it was for us,
For sure.
So what do you make of that? And what do you make of some of these bigger accounts giving it a shout out and reviewing it? I mean, really, none of them are like hating on it or anything. And hey, even if they did, I wouldn't really care about that either.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's out there. So yeah, what do you make of it? And what do you think the trajectory could be for the ecosystem? Any results that you can get from the documentary?
Well, so one thing, we've always said that all press is good press, whether it's hate or love.
Yes.
The name is getting out there. The one thing we have to realize is that some of these people, originally Blockchain Boy being one of them, called Hex a scam way back in the day. We have to be careful. We have to. I know this community is huge, very powerful in numbers. We almost have to embrace some of these guys. We don't want, because the community is so big, we don't want it to be a put off and be like, well, I said good things and they all attacked me from what I said. People are going to change their mind. People are going to come around. And if you want to grow this, if you want to 10x the community so we can 100x the price, you're going to have to understand and appreciate some of these people that are changing their mind and saying now good things. Not all of them have ulterior motives. Some of them may.
True.
Some of them may be, we've seen it before and we'll probably see it again to where some of these guys will come in, be all buddy with the community, and then all of a sudden say, well, hey, I don't like the way it does this, but I'm going to create a coin that does this. That's the first step of some of
Yeah.
these guys coming in. And, but until that happens, I would definitely say, we have to embrace some of this. Some of these people that are changing their worldview and changing their mind, giving us some good press. When they have that many followers, the last thing you want to do is go and say, you're an asshole. Well, then the next guy that has something good to say, who may have had negative feelings before, may not say it,
Right.
So, you have to be careful with, there's a fine line. You know what I mean? And if you don't have anything nice, don't say anything. Sometimes you're better off just not feeding the trolls. That's always an option too.
Take
But
mother's advice. I mean, that's mom's advice when
yeah,
you were a
man, if
kid.
you
Yeah.
don't have anything nice to say, sometimes you just don't say anything. So, yeah, I think it's going to have some really good effect. When it first launches on all these platforms, always something to bitch about, right? $15. Oh my God, it's too much. Why are you charging us $15? Well, they got to make some money back, then everybody's like, well, dude, they spent a lot of money on this thing for the community. They probably spent way more than what they'll ever make back. I don't think they'll ever get it all back. So, this was an investment to the community. Let them earn some money back, for God's sakes. I chipped in some money back then. It was a bull market happening. Got my name in the credits. Pretty cool. But
Oh yeah, you did. I forgot about that. Yeah.
It's for the community. So I wish people kind of need to take a step back and look at the overall picture and stop thinking everybody's out to do something to make a buck. If this will work, it will definitely get some engagement. And you brought it up earlier. It's not meant for people inside the community. This is not a Hex Maxi movie at all. If you are a Hex Maxi and you go watch this, you're going to be disappointed because
Probably.
they really do give you both sides, both arguments, and they kind of let you come out of it wanting to look into it. And I think that's the overall take on the whole thing is it makes you want to look into it. What is this thing, man? This sounds pretty interesting. Some people are calling it a scam. You got other guys over here buying cars and Lamborghinis and calling it the greatest thing ever. And, so it really does kind of cater to that type of audience. So yeah,
Right.
that's what it was designed to do. It wasn't a puff piece at all. We said that over and over before. So I like it. I think it's going to do wonderful things once it's out on the pay-per-view for a while. It will come to free. It'll be free. Netflix may pick it up, and once they do, look out because it's going to get a lot of eyes. Some of these platforms it'll be free on there too. So, it's getting good reviews everywhere that I've seen, and people can't say enough good things about it. It was very well done. The music was well done. The cinematography was well done. The storyboard goes on. It's great. So,
Yeah.
That's what I got to say about that. And I think it's going to do good things for us.
I'm with you. Yeah. I mean, for the people already in the ecosystem, I mean, they were already bullish on it, already understand all angles of it. So I don't think some people haven't even ever been clamoring really to see it or anything because it's like, what's it really going to change for me?
Right.
Again, yeah, it's kind of not even an advertisement. That's not even the best way to put it. I mean, I guess it is, but it's media for the rest of the people to see and then look into it, So yeah, I love it. And also speaking of blockchain, boys, shout out to Corey Costa yet again. I saw he was reaching out to him to have him on his stream and interview him. So that'll be pretty interesting as well. So I think what it is really is like, look, I understand if you see like those big influencers and you're like, hey, you've never had our back before. Don't be trying to come in here now, blah, 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 blah. I understand that. But, if you show them that personality and we as a collective do anything other than that, or like hate on them when they try to. I mean, nobody's going to want to come in. I mean, you're just
Yeah,
going to look like a bunch of angry psychos that nobody wants
exactly.
anything to do with. And that's why some people think that this ecosystem is full of those people, which
Yeah.
I'd say they're probably short-sighted if they think that. They probably haven't looked far enough. But yeah, I mean, if there's people like that, they're just kind of negative people anyway, and probably just losers, you know.
Yeah.
So
Agree.
best to avoid them. Speaking of negative people and losers, so just talking about, and this is going to be our little transition into what we want to get into, which is our little tutorial here tonight, to the best ways and how we personally, and again, even though you guys are already doing this and are familiar with this ecosystem, this may be beneficial to you, is how we would go about bridging into PulseChain. This will be a tutorial video for people as the bull market rages on and stuff here eventually in 2024, 2025. But I think there's things that you guys will want to see from us as well. But just a quick conversation about, like, you know, positioning things that happen negatively versus positively. And there's been some negativity over the last week, just with people talking about a certain 3-letter agency that, you know, is on the verge of having their leader fired, has lost like 15 cases in a row, and has hardly any credibility at this point. Like, talking about that, talking about the bridge or PulseX and these other front ends being too hard to use, when a lot of them are just one extra click. You know, the IPFS links, there's 3 different ones. And I understand some of them people have had issues with, or their computer gave them an error when they tried to click it, or it said like a 400 error or whatever, which are usually going to be browser issues, not an issue with the actual thing. I understand it. Like, there's a lot of that going on. But, you know, instead of just getting upset about it, throwing your hands up, and this isn't going to be good, okay, well, just figure out what a solution is. Like, if you really believe in this stuff as much as you say you do, and more than all these other things in crypto, find an alternative and see what you want to do to buy it. You know, scarce commodities, and as we talked about before the show, Ewok, harder to buy commodities are the ones that, like, that is when the opportunity is there.
Yep.
So I think it's just how you position it. And we're going to talk about tonight specifically how to deal with or overcome those IPFS links if they give you any trouble, but specifically how to bridge onto PulseChain and how we think the best way to do it is anyway. So yeah, do you need any more time to get stuff pulled up, Ewok, or do you think you're pretty much good to go here?
I think I'm pretty good. I think what I'm going to have to do, though, when I share, because we're going to be clicking back and forth between a few windows, and I think that I have to hang on, let's do this. We're going to stop our screen share, and I'm going to do it as the entire screen.
Yeah, that'll be better. So we're obviously not with this video going to get into like how to. We're going to assume that the person that's getting into this has already been on an exchange, knows how to buy ETH, is on Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken or whatever your favorite exchange is, but you've already bought your ETH or your USDC or whatever. We're going to talk about why the way we would want to onboard is to first, with whatever you're buying, is to buy wrapped Pulse first before you would actually bridge and get over into the PulseChain ecosystem. So we'll talk about how to buy Pulse, PulseX, Hex, whatever it is you want to do. So let's just assume this: you buy your ETH, you buy your USDC, whatever stables, whatever it is you want to buy on your exchange, and you've sent it to your MetaMask or whatever wallet it is you're going to use. We're going to assume that you're using a MetaMask because that's what most people still do right now. But yes, the first thing that we are in favor of doing is whatever you're onboarding with, that ETH, USDC, whatever, is swapping for wrapped Pulse, WPLS, which is just the Pulse token on Ethereum. So I think that's the best way to actually get into the ecosystem. And I actually even have, if you guys have trouble finding that or anything, I'll put it in the chat here. But the wrapped Pulse actual token address as well. I think is the best way to start out.
It's not agreeing with me here, so we're going to do it a little different.
Okay.
I'll just have to share. I'll just have to remember to change tabs.
Okay.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to, you see the bridge, right?
Yep, I got you. Yep.
Okay. So this is the bridge, bridge.pulse.io. PulseChain.com. This does bring up your IPFS links. There's 3 of them here. It brings also the link to run it from your desktop. We're just going to stick with the first button here and give us the bridge. Okay. That is the first step. And the reason I say the first step is because this is the easy way to copy the link for the contract. Because the first thing that pops up is Pulse. We're going to change this to wrapped Pulse. Whoop.
I don't think we have your the screen that you're on right now.
The pop-up doesn't happen.
Oh, no, wait, no.
Never mind. I see. Share this tab instead.
Yeah, so there's the actual bridge. That was after you click the first IPFS link. There you go.
Yes, so the actual bridge pops up. Sorry about that.
Yep.
I am going to switch my MetaMask real quick over to Ethereum network. And something went wrong. Of course it did.
I don't know why it isn't displaying that, but
there we go.
Okay. So either way, you changed over to the network, yeah?
Yep, I changed the network. So you want to change this top button here to wrapped Pulse, okay? Right here is how you copy your token address. Now, there's a couple different places that I went to. What we're going to do is buy wrapped Pulse on the Ethereum network. This is the easiest way, I think, to bridge and start over and get PulseChain into the PulseChain, to get Pulse tokens into the PulseChain network. There are 3 places. I checked on, we're going to check on Matcha.
Matcha, yep. I was going to say, I saw that Wrapped Pulse was on here the other day. And for anybody who is new to Matcha or has never used it before, so this is basically, first of all, they censored Hex before, so screw them largely. But they also weirdly do have Wrapped Pulse on here. So one way, go ahead.
So when you paste the contract that I just grabbed from the bridge over there into here, it pops up. Here's your wrapped Pulse from PulseChain. Okay.
Yep.
So there's that. The next one, we're going to share this tab, is Uniswap. Same deal. Paste the contract into here, wrapped Pulse from PulseChain. And here's your trading platform. But what I found earlier, and I got the best price action, was going to ethhex.com. This is one of the front ends that was made by a community member. The good thing about it is it has an auto router built right into it. So I think that's why I'm getting the better price for this. So I have in my MetaMask. Now, the first step is obviously go to Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, crypto.com, somewhere, get Ethereum and send it into your MetaMask wallet. We're not going to walk you through that portion of it. So, that is the obviously first step. But what we're going to do is we're going to get some of the Ethereum, use that and buy some wrapped Pulse. So I'm just going to put in right here. I am sharing this, right? Yep. So we're going to do 0.04, which is, just under $100, but that's going to get me 1.876 million wrapped Pulse. Okay. So we're going to hit the swap button.
There you go.
And we're going to confirm. And I have to agree on my wallet. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, it won't show us that, but just assume that his MetaMask is upside down and he can agree to actually do the swap.
So I submitted it, agreed to it. We're going to close here and we're going to wait for it. And this little pending box is going to let us know when it's done. Okay, I just got transaction confirmed. This will catch up here in a second, probably about 10 seconds. There it is.
There you go.
Swap exactly 0.04 ETH for 1.876 million Pulse, wrapped Pulse. Okay, so the next step is, now that I have wrapped Pulse, is we're going to go back to the bridge. Okay. Make sure that you are on the Ethereum network. Okay.
Right.
It's going to tell you and see that you have now 1.876 million. So we're going to do obviously the max. We want to send it all. Now, I've been told that a bunch of decimals can throw it out of whack. So we're going to get rid of the decimals and just make it an even 1.876 103. Okay. And then if you want to make sure that you say receive pulse, which means it will unwrap it for you.
Mm-hmm.
It will unwrap it for you once it gets over to the pulse chain. So we're going to hit send. And then click send. Again, I have to approve it, and hopefully it's not crazy.
So essentially, MetaMask is up right now, and you have to approve a bridge fee. And when we're done with this, I was going to talk about a way to save other fees by doing that initial step on Matcha too. But yeah, this is good. So now this will be actually bridging it over to Pulse.
Yep.
And
so now you need zero. It says 0 of 96 confirmations. Usually a confirmation will happen every 13 seconds or so.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a minute or 2 minutes. So you do have to wait, and it will tell you that you can expect it to. Oh, here we go. So I already have 2 of 96. The transaction confirmed, and it's working on it. So.
And this will take like 15, maybe 20 minutes or so. And for people that, don't have bridging experience, I mean, this is what bridges do. I mean, they're in the last cycle as well, if there was any tokens you were familiar with, usually a bridge will take 15, 20 minutes. So you can sit there and watch the screen. You can go grab yourself a PB&J, whatever it is you want to do. But eventually they'll go over there. And that is the beauty of having, that's why I love, and I agree with you, Ewok, to get the wrapped pulse first, because you get it over there. And because you had it checked to give you pulse, it's just going to totally unwrap it and be pulse as soon as you get over there. So no other step will be required.
Dank says PulseChain is a security full of securities. Well, unless Ethereum is a security, which, you may think it is, but as far as Gensler had mentioned, what was it, not too long ago, in another discussion, he said that Ethereum was not a security. Well, PulseChain is a fork of that. So, it's completely up to the user, I guess, to decide whether it's security or a commodity. Not that it really matters, but, just an opinion. I don't know why. They're going after everybody, dude. If you haven't seen the SEC.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even highlighted that. It's just a dumbass troll. I don't give a shit what he has to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's crypto against the SEC. I don't know what he's missing here. So
pretty much.
But I was answering Blue Diesel's question here. So he asked, what about gas fees? And I was going to answer him here. So that's why we only did it for a moment. Maybe we can go back to it in a minute here. I want to let Ewok finish up. But that's why using matcha.xyz, it is .xyz, I think, right?
Yes.
Is a good option to avoid at least one asinine gas fee on Ethereum. Because what you can do is take your USDC or ETH or whatever it is you initially used. And there's matcha right there. You can go in, and now you will have to do a limit order. It's not going to work like this with a market order, but use your stables or ETH or whatever it is you have, hook it up to matcha, and then you can set a limit order for, I would just do a market buy, but it'll be as a limit order. So just say, like, whatever ETH I have in here for whatever wrapped pulse I can get at this moment, make it a limit order and submit the transaction. And it will go through sometimes maybe in a few minutes, maybe in a couple hours or whatever, but it should fill and you will not be charged fees for it. That's just a free thing. The fees will go to the person executing the trade, basically, or go from them. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to share this. We're back on matcha. If you do a limit order, it's right here, basically. Now, I think, can you do a limit order with ETH? It looks like you can. So, okay. I thought it used to be that you had to wrapped ETH was one of the only ways to do it. Yeah, ETH is not supported. I'm pretty sure you have to switch your Ethereum to wrapped Ethereum.
Weird. I've definitely done ETH before, but maybe
in order to
I
catch.
don't know.
Now, I think you can do USDC.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm pretty
you
sure.
can. So USDC you can do without having to do it, but you can't use Ethereum straight. You have to use wrapped Ethereum to do a limit order. USDC will work. But yeah, I mean, you set your, so say you have $500, whatever, and you want to get, what is it? 109. So let's do it. Actually, if you change the number to
Mr. Chinks, yeah, shout out Mr. Chinks. CalSwap is a good one too. Now you still will be. I like CalSwap. It actually, if you've never used it, is pretty weird, hilarious, and moderately frightening the first time that you have a transaction go through because of the loud moo effect that it does. But it's good too. Now you will be charged a gas fee on there. The one convenient thing about CalSwap, I will say, is it charges the fees in the token you're swapping. So there will be a gas fee, but you don't have to if you're short on ETH or you inconveniently don't have any at the time, it'll just take it out of whatever you're doing. So that's a good point too. Matcha, the nice thing with these limit orders is you will not pay a fee period with these.
Right. So here's an easy way to do it. If you put your $100 in, you hit market, it'll pretty much give you the market price. I don't have enough in here now because I just spent what little I put in this test wallet, but it says insufficient. But yes, you can do it. And if you just hit market, it'll put market price up there and it should slowly fill as long as the price doesn't dip below and that's a possibility too. Don't forget, you have to set the expiration as well. It depends on how long you want to wait too. If you only want to wait an hour, only set it for an hour, but sometimes this can take a day or so to fill.
Yeah.
And it says right here, your Ethereum fee is free. So keep that in mind. It is a way to solve one of the issues, but you're still going to have to pay gas to get it over there. I believe what I say, I started with $160 earlier.
Right.
And I only bought $91 in tokens. I'm down to $27 in this wallet. So yes, the fees are a little high. It is a little difficult. But once you're over there, the fees are a lot cheaper at the moment than they are on Ethereum. So,
and we also did this at a time where gas was like moderately high. I mean, like if you had some money sitting around and you knew you wanted to get over into Pulse, you could wait for late Saturday night if you wanted to, to bridge it over.
We're sitting at 63 Gwei right now. So
yeah, that's pretty high.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap right now. And but we're doing it on stream for a tutorial. We just kind of wanted to do it. I put some money over there knowing that we were going to do this and not a big deal.
Plus that's kind of just another reason, that's why people are going over to PulseChain because Ethereum gas fees are so ridiculous. I mean, we're still in 2023 right now. We're not even in like crazily bullish times here or anything like that.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
So essentially, I don't know if you want to wait for all this or not, but essentially this will take another 10 minutes or so. And once the pulse is over there, it's over there. So, I mean, there will be no other action you have to take. I know people have gotten confused at times on the bridge. There is a claim button that it looks like you have to push. You don't have to actually do that or anything.
No, you don't.
So once those tokens get over there, they're over there. And then again, that doesn't mean you have to just keep your pulse then. I mean, like if you were like, I really want to buy this Pulse X price, or I want to buy Hex right now, or whatever it is, you can then just trade that pulse for that. This is just the easiest way. It kind of eliminates a step, eliminates a little bit of fees to just buy wrapped pulse from the beginning and send that over there. That way there's one trade you've already eliminated anyway. So, yeah,
we can go back to it after it clears. I figure we can probably, do we have any other topics that we want to cover or
nothing that was really all that pressing here. Let me see. Yeah, no, I think that was basically it. The one thing I wanted to say, just sentiment wise, because I don't want to go whole other curveball and go to a totally different topic, but I was talking about Frank Molina earlier. So he was on with Corey Costa earlier tonight, and I bookmarked a tweet from him the other day just to kind of help everybody, I think, with the mindset of where we are with everything right now. All right. And yeah, this is from a couple of days ago. So, and he is I'm going to put his Twitter handle actually in the chat because I think people would really enjoy his insights if you guys are not following him. But the other day he said how to not get discouraged in times of uncertainty, why PulseChain, Hex, and PulseX will prevail. There might be days when you look at your portfolio and get discouraged that the value isn't performing as expected, even when all the positive fundamentals of the ecosystem, movie release, volume increase, validators increase, are indicating that it should pump. The problem is that statement is the problem in that statement is expect. Expectations, impatience, and lack of conviction are the enemy in investing. The beauty of thinking long term is that you don't get trapped in this psychological torture. PulseChain, Hex, and PulseX will pump one day. The market will reflect the fundamentals and value of real DeFi. The problem is it doesn't happen when we want it to happen. It doesn't happen on our timeline. It happens when the market decides to make it happen. That time in between when the tokens should pump and when they actually pump is torturous for someone who is constantly looking at their portfolio. Definitely true. Be at ease. There are literal scam coins that pump overnight. A wise man once said, it takes 52 weeks to shake out the weak hands. Have conviction. Our time will come. So couldn't have said it better than that. I mean, I think he's right. It is very hard. I mean, everybody looks at it every single day. And we just have to kind of let this go. And, this stuff will come back around. So,
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. We don't have to necessarily wait for the stuff to get over there. I was more concerned with like looking at the IPFS links, making sure that people understood how to use those. And a quick side conversation, because we wanted to get over to that a minute ago. If you actually could just go back, Ewok, if you have the bridge, the actual landing page of the bridge still up. And
this one,
I wanted to tell everybody. Hold on, I went away from our screen. Yes. Okay. So when you go to the bridge website for PulseChain, so that's what you're going to be greeted with now. Those three links in the middle are the IPFS links. Now, people are reporting like, oh, I click on them and I get an error, or it's usually going to be a setting in your browser, or you're getting an error from an ad blocker, not an ad blocker, a virus blocker or something.
It's a firewall blocker or antivirus or some sort of blocker. Yes.
Yeah, so I actually found, and I don't know if you can show this on your screen, Ewok, from earlier. When I sent you can you open the IPFS companion link that I sent you from Google Chrome in our Twitter chat earlier? And then maybe share that so people can see it. So I was looking at this earlier, and the only reason I use this is because I know most people are using Google Chrome. I know people have also talked about downloading the Brave browser and changing some settings in there. But rather than even going that far, I mean, if you want to get a different browser, that's totally up to you. But I know a lot of people use Chrome. It's definitely the most popular, most used web browser. There actually is just a simple extension that you can download for Chrome just by searching for it, called IPFS Companion. And there it is. It takes you 2 seconds. So you go to IPFS Companion, click the add to Chrome link over there to the right, and it will download and add the extension to your Chrome browser. As soon as you do that, anytime that you go to the PulseChain bridge, if you go to the PulseX DEX, whatever it is, these landing sites, when you click on those IPFS links, they've all worked automatically for me. I haven't seen that error again or any kind of firewall message or anything like that. Because you've added this extension that's totally free, you don't even notice it's there. They'll all open for you right away. So I think that's the best solution that I've been able to find. And again, you could download another browser if you want to, but I think this is probably the easiest thing for you guys to do. So yeah, that's just IPFS Companion. I'll put the link to that in the chat here as well. So, and again, that's why I understand some people's frustration at first with some of this stuff. But I mean, like when you realize tools like that are out there that are that simple, I don't know why you wouldn't think somebody would be able to handle doing that, I guess.
Right.
This is all I'd have to say. So, yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on any of that, Ewok?
No, it didn't actually work on one of my browsers. So, it allows me to pop up, but then the web root, and it is the antivirus, it's kicking in. Web threat shield has blocked the website. So,
I don't know. It worked for me.
Maybe
I had the extension and all of them are working now, so I'm not sure. But everybody's situation is different. I mean, you'll have to just look at what it is that you are actually, dealing with or what your setup is. So, but yeah, I just tried it again now and bridge and everything popped right up. So yeah, check that out. I mean, there's plenty of ways around it. And, we didn't even discuss actually the way of just downloading these files as well. If you want to go
That's
back
the easy way.
That's really the easiest way, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. If you wanted to just show that too, you don't have to go through the whole download process, but you could just show where those links are on there as well if you want to.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy. All it does is creates I should be sharing that now. Depending on what kind of system that you have, Windows, ARM, Mac, Linux, and Linux ARM, it will create a zip file for you. And all you do is basically unzip the file each time, and it opens right up. It runs right from your server. There is a way, I forget, without going into it exactly, to unzip the exe and rename it on your desktop or something like that. You can create a shortcut right on your desktop for it, and you can make one hex, make one bridge, you can make one the PulseX. So the one thing did we talk about this last week on with the Coinly, the Coinly software. So there is, if you guys can go to Coinly, if you use that software, there's a comment in there that said something about PulseChain not updating, IPS link needs updated or something like that. If you can upvote that way, that we can get some more eyes on it, and hopefully they'll fix that. But that would be appreciated for those of us who are using Coinly.
Yeah, Coinly, the tax app or tax website for crypto. Yeah, it does have PulseChain on there. It's supported now. It's just that because the IPFS link got changed, they don't have that importing. But I know you and I already submitted tickets for that, so we'll see where that goes. But to Larry Rensler's point that I just highlighted a moment ago, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I think honestly downloading the links is the easiest thing to do. Well, I mean, now that I installed that extension, it's pretty easy on the IPFS thing. But yeah, downloading it and running it from your computer, because you do it one time, until there's an update or something like that. Right. And you've got it there. It's just you unzip the file, just do extract all. You've got it there and you pull it right up. It's awesome. It harkens back to like kind of the early days of some crypto wallets, Ewok, if you remember. Like, I mean, before everybody had the MetaMask extension, I know there was a lot of, what was that popular one that began with an E? Exodus. Yeah, Exodus wallet was a desktop wallet. So a lot of people, we ran a lot of desktop stuff like in the earlier days. So this really isn't any different, I don't think.
There's several of them. There's Coinomi, there's Exodus,
is there one called like Electrum or something like that?
Electrum is another. Yeah. Yes, those are the old school like Bitcoin wallets, and that's what they started as. Coinomi kind of branched out and started to do other things, and then the what you call it, the Exodus branched way out and started, they would cover just about every coin, all the ERC20 coins, and then all the other blockchains, Doge and Litecoin and Ethereum and Bitcoin, and you name it. It was Civic and everything.
I remember that. Yeah.
So it covered a lot of the different ones, and you got a private key to each one of those wallets. So it's there's actually, you control the keys of that. It's a decent wallet. So
yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we pretty much covered it all. I don't know where you're at on that bridge, but
it says actually, let's take a look at it. It says transfer complete.
Oh, sweet. Okay. I feel like it lied to us for those 96. It does that to me too, where I'm like, man, this is going to be another 10 minutes and then it's already over. So
yeah. So
now you can go to your DEX of choice, once these have actually been bridged over. And if you want Ewok, maybe we could just go to PulseX. Just so people can see.
I'm gonna share this, and it is my MetaMask tab. But yeah, so I started with $158. It was up to like 160 because the price of Ethereum went up a little bit. But yeah, so we spent 91. We did the transfer. Now what we're going to do is change our wallet over to PulseChain.
Yep. Since now your funds are over on PulseChain.
And there we go. It's unwrapped it for me. There's my 1,870,000 Pulse in this wallet. So everything went over. Now you can go to where were we going to?
Well, you can do either. I was going to say maybe go to PulseX just in case people want to see how you would access those links. But obviously, you and I's favorite DEX is Piteous or Piteous or whatever you choose to say. But yeah, there's PulseX. Yeah, so the front end, obviously, you can see the front page is just like the bridge to PulseChain page.
They all look the same.
Yep.
And then you just click on your link. It says that one's not working. Let's try this one.
Yeah, if you would have downloaded the extension I told you to download.
Maybe. I think I did.
I don't know if it's on there or not. You might have to look up in your extensions. Like it took mine a minute to get up in there. Or you can just go to Piteous. I mean, which is a better option anyway.
All right. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
I did download it.
Okay. So our favorite DEX for Pulse right now, it's actually a DEX aggregator, which is what makes it so cool. It's Piteous, Piteas.io, I believe,
Piteous.
Right? Piteous. It is
Latin.
.io.
Yes. It's app.piteous.io.
Okay.
To get to this screen, which I should be sharing to make sure. Yes. Yep. All right.
So this is actually a PulseChain DEX. So, I mean, you're basically just going to be doing PulseChain stuff on here. So now that you're here, you can trade that Pulse that we've already unwrapped for whatever, 9-inch from Ethereum, Aave token, whatever your choice happens to be.
A Tropa, there's all kind of stuff. There's Communist, there's Coast. You can get into the Coast token, the stable coin. There's also Hex from Ethereum, which I don't know why you would buy it on here, but you can. I mean, you save a little bit of fees. So
most people, I think, when they've gotten to this point, like they're either holding that Pulse or they want to swap it for PulseX or they want to swap it for Hex, usually at this point. So, and if you get into something else, that's totally fine too. There's the loan token for liquid loans. And this is now the beautiful thing about Piteous is that it is a DEX aggregator. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen here, there's all the details. If you click show route, if you're interested, you don't have to do this, but you can trust that it's going to give you the route to give you basically the best bang for your buck. So whatever you're trading, it's going to give you a route that's going to give you the best price on whatever you're trading into. That's what an aggregator is. It's going to group all that stuff together, and that's what it's.
Is that popping up? Is it showing the details? Okay, I just want to make sure. Sometimes when pop-ups happen, and now I'm getting an insufficient liquidity for this. So sometimes if you, I'm just saying. Sometimes if you give it a minute, though. It has to rethink or get the better route so that you got to give it a second. It will keep updating and looking for a better one, and it will usually repopulate. But anyway, let's swap a little first. There
you go.
Let's do 500,000 Pulse for a little bit of Hex and see what it gets us. It'll give us 3,000. You see the route, and it looks like it's pulling. But it looks like we're using all of them. We're using
9 inches in there.
PHUX. We're using 9-inch. We're using PulseX V2. It's doing a little bit of everything. So we're going to go ahead and swap. Confirm. You do have to okay it on your MetaMask.
It is cool to see that though, like just see what route it goes, and that's why I like this app so much, because you can rest assured like you're getting the best deal, from everywhere. And what did we do whenever the IPFS link apparently didn't work for you, even though I guess you got that extension? We just went to Pitius, just another front end, and we're able to swap it right away. So there you go. I think it completed it, didn't it?
Yep,
There you go.
it did. Swapped. So we're good. So now my wallet should have share this tab instead. There you go. Now you see the pulse. Now you see the hex. So pretty simple.
We did it. Yeah. So we bridged from the beginning. And yeah, I think that is the best way to do it. Yeah, just getting the wrap pulse at first, bridging it over to PulseChain, and then you can either hold it or swap for whatever you want. So we're going to cut this up and release it in a future video. It'll be a lot kind of tighter than we did it here tonight, but as far as like an actual tutorial on how to do that, but it really isn't that hard. And again, when we were faced with any kind of issue there, if PulseX wasn't working right there at first for Ewok, what do? We just went over to Pitius. So I understand how some people are like, well, you know, this link isn't bringing it up or whatever. I mean, that's why there are alternatives. I mean, I like Pitius better anyway than using straight PulseX. So yeah, good stuff. I'm glad we went through that, and I think it was a good thing to do at this juncture of the market. But Ewok, do you have any kind of final things to add as we wrap up the show here tonight?
No, man. Just keep your head up. We're getting there. Maybe a little bit more down, but you know, good times are definitely coming. If you can weather this storm, and you've been here all along, and you've got it in the bag. It's only up from here eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Just don't be checking the charts every day and every single minute. Who am I kidding? You're going to do it anyway.
Yes,
and so am I.
Boy.
Yeah, exactly. I saw he said that. But yeah, just wait it out, guys. If you believe in the product, you believe in the product. Find something else to do in the meantime if the prices aren't to your liking yet. So we appreciate all you guys being here. Shout out Philly, DJ Moonboy, Blue Diesel. A couple of new names. I didn't know Blue Diesel, Larry Rensler. You guys brought some good stuff tonight, so I appreciate you guys. Mr. Chinks, as always. Scrolling up to see other names, but that's all I got. So Armando earlier. So thank you guys.
Philly was here.
Yep. I said Philly. I said it right away. Yeah, I got them. I got them covered. But any of you guys that were new, we do this every single Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hit the like on the way out if you enjoyed the stream. And if you want to represent real DeFi, support this channel and other guys doing the same. Matty Allen was streaming at the same time as us. And check out that Corey Costa, Frank Molina stream from earlier tonight. That was at 7 p.m. Eastern. There you go. BYOB, stake it till you make it. We do this every Tuesday night. We will be here with you guys next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for Crypto Ewok, this has been Boi Crypto. We'll catch you guys next week right here on the Creed of Crypto podcast.